It all started with an email from a photo award competition for landscape photography. Something that could have easily been marked as spam, but this time was a little different. You see, I had this idea for a while. This idea to travel to
Garden of the Gods.
But there was one problem. It was an almost 6-hour drive away from Chicago. You know, the greatest city in the world.
So our plan needed to be perfect. It would be a squeeze, but we couldn't make it work.
Not to mention the deadline for this competition was only a week away.
Drama. So we planned
Some more.
and made our plan. We would pack the night before on Thursday so that we could leave on Friday right after work, so that we would arrive to Garden of the Gods by 11 p.m. And yes, this plan is nuts. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Camping spots were available, but with research we learned that they were first come first serve, which isn't an issue except for the fact that we were arriving on Friday night, which meant that most people were getting there throughout the day and would be setting up for the weekend ahead of them, meaning we might not get a spot. Back to the drawing board, we learned that the Garden of the Gods, being the Shawnee National Forest, actually had an overnight parking lot where people were allowed to sleep in their cars, thus solidifying our plan. We'd leave after work, get dinner on the road, arrive at 11 p.m. If there's a camping spot, we would take it. If not, we would sleep in the parking lot overnight and then finally try to get a spot Saturday morning. I told you, this was nuts.
Here's the thing about arriving to a place really late at night that you've never been to in your entire life and you have spotty reception.
It's freaking terrifying, but it is what it is and it was what it was, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. What we planned for is what ended up happening. There weren't any camping spots available, so we needed to sleep in that overnight lot overnight. And sleeping in that spot, it could have been more comfortable, but it did the job. The following morning we woke up and there was a lady leaving her camping spot, so we were able to get that. We were up at like 7:30 in the morning and we saw her taking down her clotheslines and all that, and we were like, can we take your spot? She said yeah. We were like, perfect. We stayed there. She pulled out her spot about 20 minutes later. We break everything down, and then we pulled in. Perfect. And the rest is history.
This trip was nuts, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anyone.
At least not in the way that we did it.
But we had a fun time, and in the end, we now have a really great story to tell.
Once again, my name is Josue, and I'm from Chicago, the greatest city in the world. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.